Make me lose with the unthinkable. Don't stop till you come first. Life's too unpredictable. Take control of what you're worth. Wasting time's forgivable.
What is up, guys? Grave Mistake here again, coming to you with another video. What this video is going to contain is information about the new Xbox One S. Now, we have a couple original Xboxes. I do believe we are going to go ahead and get at least 2 of these for the clan, for inside of our main house, and they just seem nice, especially for using for a multimedia. Well, I want to say multimedia. I would say for controlling shit, for multimedia, for watching TV, to replace your center unit, I guess, inside your living room. Well, let's get into the information about it. So, it's the Xbox One S. It's supposed to be sleeker, slimmer, sharper. I'm not 100% sure on the white. Everybody now is going to the white. I think we talked about this in another video. I kind of wish it would have come in other colors. Supposedly it might be coming in other colors eventually, but for right now I know that they're coming out with white. But I can't bitch too much because I guess the white kind of, as I look around it, yeah, it does kind of match the color thing going on in this room. It's supposed to have a starting price of $399, so that's not too bad. It's 2 terabytes. It's supposed to be, what is it, 4K Ultra HD. It's supposed to have a high dynamic range. It's supposed to be 40% smaller. I think the smaller is really going to help out. The Xbox is kind of bulky. I mean, it reminds me of like the early 90s VCRs. I don't know if y'all remember those, or the very first set of Blu-ray players that ever came out. Those things were massive. This thing is pretty thick. One of the things that I kind of like about it is I really like the 360, how you could stand it up. The Xbox One, I know that there's some companies out there that sold stands so you can stand it up. I've just kind of been hesitant for it because it kind of actually wasn't designed for that. It was actually designed to lay flat like your old school DVD players and VCRs. But this one, apparently they went back and there was a lot of complaints with the 360 when you stood them up, how it blocked a lot of the airflow, and stuff along those lines. Well, with this one, they actually are coming out with its own stand that's made by Microsoft, made by Xbox, you know, for this console. And it really seems like they put a lot of thought into it, and they listened to everybody's complaints about the original 360 when you would stand it up. This platform that they have actually has a pretty good gap underneath it where they have some airflow. So it seems like cooling is not going to be an issue with this. Even with all the upgraded internals and everything, I mean, it really does seem like cooling is not going to be an issue. Now, I still wouldn't recommend that if you get this, you go stick it in a cabinet somewhere with your VCR and everything else and seal it off so it doesn't get any fresh air or AC or anything. Definitely would not recommend that. Now, about the 4K Ultra HD, I personally don't care. I'm not a huge fan of 4K. And here's my reasoning behind it. I'm a huge horror movie buff. I love classic horror movies, like the original Dawn of the Dead, Revenge of the... huge classic movie buff. You know, classic horror movies and action movies. The problem is, whenever you start getting into these ultra 4K, 7K, stuff like 7K just gives me a fucking headache. But whenever you get into that, even when you get into HD, HD has its place, but when you get this extreme into it, you lose a lot of the original special effects. It really makes everything look overly fake, because the way they used to be able to hide some of the prosthetic makeups and the cables to pull stuff across the room, stuff like that. I mean, you can see it now with no problem. It's like you're standing on the set. Now, I know some people just love that. To me, when HD first came out and nobody was really prepared for it, everything to me looked like a fucking Spanish soap opera. I'm not trying to cuss a whole lot in this video, but it was a big deal for me. Trying to watch anything with it, it made everything seem like one of those Spanish soap operas. I know a lot of this younger generation won't know what I'm talking about. Some of the older guys will probably agree. But the 4K is not my biggest concern or anything like that. So, one of the things I am excited about is what they're calling their IR blaster. I don't know why they actually called it that way, but basically, it's going to have an infrared eye on it, and the infrared eye is going to be able to control your other objects. Like, you'll be able to turn your TV on with your Xbox. You'll be able to turn your, I guess if you still have VCR, your Blu-ray, even though technically I guess you can play Blu-ray on your Xbox. But that's not the point. Anyways, you'll be able to control all your shit from your Xbox. I mean, you won't just have to link like your cable box and all that to it. I mean, literally, you'll be able to control it. Which, to me, I think that's a great idea. I'm falling in love with that idea. That to me is just flipping awesome. You'll be able to turn on, like, if you have a stereo that uses a controller, you'll be able to, like, control everything. Your satellite receiver, cable box, everything. To me, I think that's awesome. I'm a huge fan of this concept, this idea. I know they're talking about, like, they did some modifications to the controller. I really don't care about that. Honestly, I wouldn't even care if it came with a controller. I know a lot of people think that's crazy, but I'm such a huge fan of these Fusion controllers now. It's not even funny. We have some scuff. We have some other brands. My biggest thing right now are the Fusion controllers and the Clinch controllers. We actually did do an affiliation with Clinch, but we were already using their stuff before we ever even knew about that you could even get an affiliated sponsorship with them. I do like the pricing on both of these. I really like the pricing on the Clinch because they do, like, basically a full custom controller. You're not having to play with what some other pro gamers thought was a good idea. Like, you get to pick, like, how you want it set up, like where you want this button, that button, this selectable button, all that stuff. The colors on the outside, dude, they do some badass hydro dipping on their controllers. Like, I highly recommend it, and for the price, it's still coming in cheaper than a regular scuff, so highly recommend it. But on these new Xbox wireless controllers that they're coming out with for the S, it's supposed to be like more of a streamlined, sleeker. I guess I'm gonna have to hold one and try one, but I'm just such a big fan of these others because I don't use Control Freaks. The reason why I like the Fusion and I like the Clinch is because you can do the oversized and raised analogs. So you don't have to... I don't know how to explain it. You don't have to click on this Control Freak to be able to use it. It's like built into the controller. So to me, I find that as definitely a plus. I also had some problems back in the day with some with a couple different Control Freaks. They would pop off and have some issues. Now, also, I mean, they are including the stand, which is one of the things that I'm pretty ecstatic about. I don't have to go out and buy something separate. That, to me, is pretty nice. The overall package, $339, that's not too bad. It's causing the original Xbox to drop crazy in price. So, a lot of you a lot of you PlayStation people out there that never really got into Xbox, now you can get an Xbox pretty damn cheap. I think they're like $250, $279. I think you can even get them cheaper than that now, and they're brand new. What else has been going on? I think that's about it. Now, with the giveaway, I wanted to send everything out on July 1st, But there are actually 2 individuals that I'm waiting on their information. I'm going to try to get back in contact with them. One of them didn't even win, but there was some confusion because of his name, and he wasn't even subscribed. That's probably one of the biggest slap in the face. But we don't want to screw this person over because we already told them that they won and they got all excited about it. And we don't want to be those people to crush some kids' dreams. So, yeah. Well, I guess that's about it. So we're gonna be sending that stuff out on July 15th. So everything's gonna get mailed out on July 15th. If these 2 people don't give me their information by then, and they know what email to be sending this stuff to, it's a different email than what we've had listed for anything. If they don't send it here pretty soon, we're gonna go ahead and pick 2 new winners, and just randomly send it out to 2 random people. Just trying to light a fire under your butt, guys. And then what else has been going on? We do have the bracelets for sale. On July 15th, we will also have the whatchamacallit, the P.O. Box. I'm sorry, I know you get a lot of ums and stuff like that on our channel. We don't script anything, okay? We're not those kind of people. The information and content that you get from us is basically live as if you're sitting in the room with us. So that's what's going on with that. So if we kind of seem like we're all over the place sometimes, that's why. But we will have the P.O. Box. We'll put the information for the P.O. Box up because we will be doing fan mail if y'all want to send fan mail, letters, comments, drawings, whatever, anything like that. What else? We still are selling the wristbands. If anybody wants to get on the wristband, they want to get one and help support the channel and support the team. What else? We are still having team tryouts. If you're not just a Black Ops 3 player, that is great. We're actually putting together a what's it called? An Overwatch team. We got a Battleborn team coming. We still have Mortal Kombat and a couple other teams out there. We're not like some of these other clans where all we have is one game. We have quite a few. We have quite a few different teams, and our teams do actually compete. But definitely send us some information. If you want to see something, let us know. Y'all guys keep it gravy, and y'all have a good one.